The standard low-cost procedure for turning a normal saloon into a sports saloon is to give it some fat tyres, a nice V6 engine, and maybe some bucket seats. But the boffins at Jag decided to go a bit further than that. Welcome everyone to what's called the Project 8. The first thing you need to know is that the only bits that these two cars have in common are the roof and the front doors. Everything else is changed for some very good reasons. First of all, they decided they needed carbon ceramic brakes that were much bigger than the brakes on the standard car. Now that meant they needed bigger wheels to go round the brakes, and bigger wheels wouldn't fit in these arches. So they had to redesign the whole front of the car, the headlamps, everything. Then there was the track, the gap between the wheels, front and back. They decided they'd like that to be wider. That meant fitting flared wheel arches. So that meant a new panel here, and a new back door, and a new panel here, and here. Then came the engine. They decided they didn't want to mess about and that they'd use a 5-litre supercharged V8. But that wouldn't fit. So to get it in, they had to cut away at the bulkhead. And then when it was in place, they thought, wait a minute, that's all a bit heavy, so we need to save some weight at the front of the car. So the bonnet, as you can see here, is carbon fibre, and so are the front wings, and so is all this. Suspension? Oh yes, that was changed as well. It now has Bilstein dampers that cost £1,000 each. And rose joints, and ceramic wheel bearings, like you get on a race car. On top of all that, the 8-speed gearbox also needed beefing up. And so did the 4-wheel drive system. And then they had to get rid of the spare wheel and the well in which it sits to fit some underfloor aerodynamics. And then when they added up the cost of all the work they'd done, there was a problem. In order to make any money at all, the Project 8 would have to cost £150,000. That's 4 times more than the standard car. 4! So, here's the question. How mad would you have to be to spend £150,000 on a car that was designed and built in a glorified shed in the Midlands in about 18 months? And the simple answer is not mad at all, because this car is fan-bleeding-tastic. The engine may be 10 years old, but it has a huge amount of character. And nigh on 600 horsepower. That means 0 to 60 in 3.3 seconds. And a top speed of 200. Even more impressive, 10 minutes before the Nürburgring shut its doors for the winter, Jag's Project 8 engineers asked if they could have one last go round it. And they shattered the record for 4-door saloons with a time of 7 minutes, 21 seconds. That's blisteringly quick. I will say that if you've got the car manually hunkered down and it's in track mode and the traction control is turned off, things can go a bit violent and bitey if you go beyond the limit. The answer is to stay within the limits, and in this car, that's no hardship. The grip from the four-wheel drive system and the wider track and the Michelin Cup tyres absolutely wobbles your eyes. It's phenomenal. You can corner at speeds that you simply can't quite believe. I mean, that was 140 kilometres through there. Look at that, that's just sheer grip. Actually peeled my skin, that did. Oh. I am a sucker for small front-engine sports saloons. I had a Mercedes CLK Black, and this is better than that. This is better than even the hottest BMW M3. You can whisper this, but I reckon it's even better than Alfa's Quadrifoglio. This is very good. Really, really good. But is it a Jag? Well, you can have it with scaffolding in the back, but this one has two proper seats. And in here, it has enough space for a borrowed oil painting and all the kit that you need to go out at night and borrow another one. So yes, it is a Jag. It even says prototype vehicle on it, which means you don't have to pay any tax, like my prototype watch and trousers and this prototype camera we're using today. And there's more. At normal road speeds with the car in comfort or even dynamic mode, it's as quiet and as civilized as a Jag should be. It even has little springs sitting on top of the bigger springs to give you a more comfortable ride. But everything's relative, really. I mean, it's not as comfortable, say, as lying in a hammock on a summer's day listening to wood pigeons. But it does have air conditioning and a head-up display and electric seats, so it is more comfortable than you'd expect. In fact, it's better than you'd expect in every way. And maybe we shouldn't be surprised by that, because the last time something was designed and built quickly in a glorified shed in the Midlands, it was called the Spitfire. And it won the Battle of Britain.